So let's analyze the Sau Chuy. The Sau Chuy is basically a swinging punch or a hooking punch. Technically speaking, there's two ways to do this, this type of punch. One is to swing around with your knuckles inside. One is to swing around with the back of your hand facing inside. Now, today what we're going to do is we're going to look at this particular Sau Chuy with the back of the hand facing inside. Okay, and look at some of the advantages it has. Here, with this type of punch, the form of the punch is quite simple. I'll just put my arm down so you can see. You're going to have the elbow bent and the knuckles turned in slightly. So you're creating a direct arc on a circle, right? A direct arc on a circle. Generally speaking, when you hit, usually it's with the first two or first three knuckles that hit. And you want that force to transfer up the arm. What happens, we're just looking at the arm, is the hand swings from slightly outside of your body, right? Slightly outside from where outside of where your shoulder is, towards your center line. Okay? Try not to go too far past that. Try not to go too far past that. There's a lot of different ways that you can throw this, so it's just important to practice it. Go on a heavy bag, practice it, practice on pads, and practice it in partner work because it's a very useful punch. It's very powerful, but it also can be a little wild. Okay? The advantage of this Sau Chuy is because it swings, it hits a large area, right? It swings, and I can hit anything in that area across, okay? And because of that, I don't have to rely on the pinpoint accuracy of a straight punch or even a jab or a chop choy punch. And so good targets are across the temple, behind the ear, anywhere in the face, like if I was facing sidewards, side of the neck, all great shots for this particular kind of Sau Chuy. The place where I'm going to hit is first or second, could be third, but usually it's these first two knuckles. And you could even take your forearm and bang the side of their neck. Now, what's important here is that the elbow stays bent. You're not straight armed because that's going to hurt your elbow, right? That's going to hyperextend my arm if I hit something. It's slightly bent, all right? Curved arc and it's bent. Now, what I need to do is I need to swing my body. I need to see that. I need to pivot up my foot and swing the body. So it's almost like I'm moving to a cat stance. There's a move in a form that looks like this, but that's the same idea, right? So I'm putting the weight onto this foot. So what I did is I dropped the heel down, and as I drop the heel down, this leg pivots in. So it's in effect it's like a cat stance. See? It's like a cat stance. So from a guard position, I open the arm up, pivot. Okay, and it's really important to pivot and swing your body. And see how, as I pivot, I actually bring the weight of my head towards this leg, towards the support leg. Right? I don't mean over, but it's just like my weight's dropping a little bit more onto this leg. And what that does is it brings the weight of the arm with the weight of the punch all the way through the arm. Okay, and that's what gives you the force. Because other than that, you're just swinging your arm, and that's okay. But really, you want it to be dropping down. Okay, so that's the basic way that you do your Sau Chuy. So let's say you get in with a chop choy, you recoil, you drop your weight. So you drop your weight and pivot your head, and then you get that Sau Chuy swing. Or I could step out to the side and do the same thing. Step out to the side and swing, and see what happens is I just back step with that leg. Boom. Okay. So the punch in itself, in practice, it's just whipping it around and coming in, or coming to the outside, same thing, and coming in. Now this is just hooking inside. You'll see this in a lot of forms, a punch and a whip and a hook. And what's important though is I'm not going all the way out here because I'm going to hurt my shoulder. I can come across the body. That's fine. That's totally fine. But I don't want to go all the way out way past my center line because that's really going to hurt your shoulder. You're going to tear your rotator cuff or something of the sort. This is a great strike. It's easier to practice with a person because it has so much follow through and it's very easy to hit. And even if they're blocking, you just bang their guard really hard and this still sends shock throughout their body. You can do this with the front hand. You can actually do it with a back hand too. Okay, so the front hand, stepping in, pivoting the weight, back hand, swinging through. And really easy strikes. They can be a little wild, so you really want to time them the right way. I would say in terms of martial art fighting, you'll probably see this a lot more prevalent in MMA style fighting than you will in boxing, just because a boxing glove's a little odd to strike like that. You can do it though. But with an MMA, you have smaller gloves, and also with this kind of hook punch, you can get somebody from much further away and keep them at distance. So it has some advantages there. On striking, in terms of striking, see that's the surface there. See, if I just hit it, that's all and I'm not moving my body at all. That's all I'm going to get. But if I give it a little pivot, there's a little follow through, a little bit of a follow through, a little. See that? See that with that little bit of follow through, that little slide. If I miss in some of the forearm hit, it's fine. See, actually, maybe it's even better. Right? That's with the forearm hitting. So the beauty is the knuckle all the way up to the forearm. As long as your elbow is slightly bent, you just pull through slightly, and it has great shock. It's also a great way to bump someone into another position. Then you can slam them, or if they're coming into you, you can just hit really hard with the Sau Chuy and spin out and kind of send them into another direction. Great offensive strike, great defensive strike. It's a must-have or a must-learn if you like sparring.